to bring into our conversation Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois. She is an Iraq War veteran, a Purple Heart recipient, and former Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. It feels like a story we've told a million times over, that Trump and the MAGA movement double down and pressure Republicans to bend to their will. I just want to see if I can find an air pocket and try to understand if you have any sense of why. Why is Pete Hegseth, who seems like a very capable, I should say, cable news anchor, but why is he this cause now? With all the baggage that's been revealed that we know from reports he didn't disclose to Donald Trump, why do you think Trump and his allies are digging in and pressuring someone like Senator Joni Ernst to confirm him?
Because he's putting on a reality TV show. That's what he's doing, right? With all of these nominations of all of these folks to these very high-profile situations. Trump is just basically casting a reality TV show, and he wants to stick it to the establishment. And so, you know, he likes somebody who looks good on camera, so that's what he's found. But really, it's about seeing how many of, the people who are in power, they can flip off, and that's what this guy is doing. And look, with everything else that's going on, this man is not qualified to be DOD secretary, just based on the fact that he's never managed anything bigger than a platoon. And for the organization that he's managed, he's been asked to leave due to mismanagement.
Let me show you where the line, I always think it's amazing where the line is drawn in the Republican Party. So here's a Republican representative from Georgia basically saying that, well, when he was around him, he was alert. I'll play it for you.
I want to ask you about the drinking. He has said that he's pledged to not touch alcohol if he becomes Secretary of Defense. What are your thoughts on that as a medical doctor?
If somebody doesn't want to drink, I think that's fine. I don't know how much he drinks normally. I have no idea. He was very sober and alert and interactive when he was in front of us.
I mean, I would hope so. He's got the most endangered nomination so far of Trump's second go at this. And that's not really the point, is it? I mean, this is someone who would be in the nuclear command, who 10 colleagues at Fox News accuse of having an issue drinking very close to airtime.
This is a guy who could not pass a background check to be a babysitter for my two girls, let alone Secretary of Defense. I mean, if he was to come forward to me and apply for a job to look after my 6 and my 10-year-old, I'd be like, let's see, you admitted you paid off a woman who accused you of rape. All these people say that you have a drinking problem. I'd be like, no, thanks. I don't think I want you watching my two girls. And yet he's being nominated to run an agency with 3 million personnel in uniform and civilian with a budget. This year's defense budget is over $925 billion. What Trump is doing is putting on a reality TV show for his MAGA base. They're eating this up. They're loving it. They're sticking it to the man, whoever the man is. They're sticking it to the establishment. And in the meantime, what is really scaring me is the fact that he's moving to put people in charge of OMB, who are authors of, Project 2025. He's putting people into place in places where they're really going to do real damage. Look, Pete Hegseth's going to get to the DOD, even if he does get confirmed. And he's not going to be able to run this agency. And I'm pretty sure, my money would be on Trump firing him after not too long, the way Trump fired everybody in his first term that he thought looked good on camera, and then within a few months ended up firing them. In fact, he tried to fire his own vice president at one point after he incited a mob to try to get him killed, So I don't think Pete Hegseth is long for this position, even if he does get confirmed. But in the meantime, it's good TV for his MAGA base.
I think your theory is probably the closest to helping me understand what's going on. But I guess what I would press you on, Senator, is he's doing it to stick it to the establishment, but it's the men and women of the military and their families that pay the price. What happens to them?
Very much so. Very much so. And he puts them in danger. To have somebody in charge of the Department of Defense who cannot manage it, who doesn't understand the burdens that our military men and women and their families carry. The words that this man has used to describe the role of women in the military undermines their service and their sacrifice. And the fact of the matter is our military could not go to war without the 225,000 women who serve in uniform. And so it is incredibly, deeply disrespectful, but also destabilizing in terms of the readiness of our military. And it does put the men and women in uniform in danger, which is why those of us who are going to be on the Armed Services Committee are going to be sure to be asking him the tough questions. I won't be voting for him unless he comes up with some miracle answers to the questions that I have, because bottom line, this man is not qualified to run the Department of Defense.
Senator, let me show you his efforts at completely rewriting his past statements on women in combat, as you just alluded to.
I also want an opportunity here to clarify comments that have been misconstrued, that I somehow don't support women in the military. Some of our greatest warriors, our best warriors out there, are women who serve, raise their right hand to defend this country and love our nation, want to defend that flag, and they do it every single day around the globe. So I'm not presuming anything, but after President Trump asked me to be his Secretary of Defense, should I get the opportunity to do that, I look forward to being a secretary for all our warriors, men and women, for the amazing contributions they make in our military.
I'm surprised there hasn't been more blowback on that already in the book, because I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective, hasn't made us more lethal, has made fighting more complicated.
I won't ask you to discern which one is the real Pete Hegseth, but how do you trust anything he says if he's willing to say anything to be confirmed?
I don't trust anything that he says, because precisely that, he'll say anything to be confirmed. I can only say that I will look at the accumulation of what he has said. He's tried to walk this back before, and he said, oh, I just meant women shouldn't be in the special forces like the Green Berets or the Navy SEALs because, they have lower standards and they're not as strong as the men, which again goes back to show that he's not qualified to be Secretary of Defense, because he doesn't understand that the women who are graduating from Army Ranger training, from SEAL school, are actually meeting the same standard as the men who are graduating from those schools. And so again, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And when he makes blanket statements like that, it's very clear that he is not qualified. Our women have made our military stronger, because our military could not go to war without the women that serve in its ranks.
Senator Tammy Duckworth, thank you for having this conversation with us. It's grateful.